Welcome to the CasinosCom podcast, the show where we explore the people, ideas, and innovations shaping the world of gambling and entertainment from Macau to Malta, Las Vegas to London. Today, we're diving into one of the most enduring and surprisingly dynamic sectors of British gaming, bingo. And to guide us through its evolution, we're joined by someone who knows the industry inside out, Peter Woolley, a leading figure behind the recent refurbishment and modernisation of two major bingo venues in the UK. Peter has overseen a transformation to update the look and feel of these clubs and to redefine what a bingo experience can be for today's players. It's part of a bigger shift happening across the industry. Peter Woolley, welcome to the CasinosCom podcast.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
Good. Let's just start, first of all, congratulations on the refurbishment at Palace Bingo in Bedworth. It looks fantastic. You must be pleased.
Yes, yeah, we're extremely pleased, extremely proud. Quite a long process, and the first set of refurbishments that I've taken the helm on. Being a family-run organisation for over 30 years, it was always something that my dad and mum took the helm on and kind of pressed forward. So that this was the first major project that myself and my brother and sister have taken charge in. So 6 months of planning and 3 months of renovations, and here we are with two shiny brand new venues.
So bingo is in the blood. It's something you've grown up with, you've gone along with your family, your parents and so on?
It is well and truly in the blood, yes, yeah. When I was 13, I was washing up in the kitchen. When I was 14, I was selling ice creams around the tables. When I was 15, I was a caller. When I was 18, I was a manager. 21, an area manager. I've just progressed, all my life really through the bingo industry.
Yeah, it's a funny industry. I know I've been in taxis and aeroplanes and all sorts of places with people on conferences, all over the place. And somebody says, so what do you do then? And you say, entertainment. Gambling is never the one you kind of admit to, but it ultimately it's gambling, isn't it?
It's how you would explain to the layman exactly what was involved in the day-to-day running of a bingo hall. It's either a very well-kept secret, or people just aren't aware that you could start at 7, 8 in the morning, you're still going at 11, midnight on the same day. It's but it can be extremely rewarding, both emotionally and physically. And I get everything I need from running my two small bingo halls.
Yeah. I don't know how old you are, I'm not going to ask, but I come from the sort of 60s era. We often hear about the beige Mac brigade. That's what I remember, stereotypes around bingo. I remember going along to an old hall with my mum and auntie. There were old ladies with shopping trolleys, smoke-filled hall, paper bingo books, half a shandy and a chicken roll. Has that all gone now? How would you describe modern bingo compared to the traditional version many people like me remember?
Well, that stereotype has been a myth for quite a long time. Our age range in my two clubs is anywhere between 18 and 108, our oldest member. Undoubtedly, at the moment, we are producing a much younger clientele, probably mostly due to the technological advances that we've got in offering and delivering the product of bingo itself. It isn't just about sitting in a room with a dabber and a ticket anymore. We've got electronic tablets, which make it a lot easier for people to play. So the age range is diverse. We get individuals, we get couples, we get groups, we get families, sometimes of 3 or 4 generations playing bingo at the same time.
Yeah.
So the beige mat brigade is definitely a myth, or it's been shelved a long time ago.
I can put mine away now then, that's for sure. So this audience shift, you've described it perfectly well there, and attracting young players to bingo today. But how do you go about that? I mean, do you use the obviously social media, the website, TikTok, Insta, we hear, Reddit, all sorts of things now. What's your modus operandi for getting these young players in, especially people who don't know about it?
We have quite a large presence on social media, predominantly Facebook, Instagram, and the chap that organises our social media at the moment has started diving into the realms of TikTok and a couple of other platforms. But generally, word of mouth, the website do the trick really. being being the cornerstone of the local communities within the towns that the clubs are placed, means that we do have quite a lot of regular customers, young and old, from the local area. So yeah, generally the avenues that most businesses use to market any hospitality business. But I think most of it might be down to word of mouth, to be honest with you. Giving great service isn't a thing of the past. Everybody can do it. All you have to do is say hello to everybody on the way in and goodbye on the way out, and everything in the middle takes care of itself, really.
And we know that the industry is heavily regulated, very stringently. And
Yeah.
also there are plans afoot. I don't know if Richard Reeves has announced yet or it's just in the pipeline, for obviously tax hikes as well. Do you see that as problematic? Do you think it's sort of, this has just been something that you've been avoiding for some time now? Do you think it's a good thing for the industry, or do you think we are going to see a lot of venues maybe and operators going out of business as a result of this?
I can't speak on behalf of other organisations within the industry, but for any business that sees their tax more than doubling and in any area that they're taxed, um, it's it doesn't exactly seem reasonably fair to me. I understand the need for investment in companies such as GamCare that do look after people that suffer the harmful effects of gambling. Bingo, of course, is a softer form of gambling. It's a social interaction event. Like I said, we get regularly 3, 4 generations of the same family, couples, groups, individuals that come in and play bingo. So being a softer form of gambling, we've lobbied so that we're not dealt with the same harsh taxation hand as the online companies are, and AGCs and casinos, really, because we maintain that bingo is a social event.
It is a strange one, though, isn't it? Because you go to the local duck race and you pay your quid. Kids are sort of taking part. You got all these free prize draws or prize draws on Facebook. I know they're coming in for some scrutiny, and you've
Yeah.
got the good old lottery. But people seem to have different perception of that to gambling. It's kind of like, oh, that's acceptable because it's only a quid, isn't it? It's only a pound. I don't mind that. There are different perceptions around various forms of gambling.
Yes, yeah, there are. The word flutter was used when the National Lottery was first introduced.
Mm,
Why not have a flutter on the lottery? Well,
mm,
however you look at it, it's still gambling. You're still going to pay your stake, and you either win or you don't. Never, as as the case may be for the National Lottery.
mm.
Yeah.
So, what inspired the refurbishment of the two bingo venues, and what were the key goals behind the redesign?
The key goals, as with any company, it's important for us to continually invest in our buildings and our people. But again, as any company, our matrix is based on our bottom line, which will dictate how much we can invest. We always want to invest more, but we understand it's really important to be financially prudent. The main goal was to make the building fit for purpose for everybody for at least the next 10 years, user friendly for clientele and staff, but to be compliant as well. As you've said, we are heavily regulated. So we've invested in new technology to help monitor player spending, player habits, and then took the opportunity to build a new toilet block. We've got an accessible toilet. We put ramps throughout the club, new carpet, new seats.
Mm.
So it was to make the building more fit for purpose, regulatory compliant, for at least the next 10 years.
And your venues, and other venues offer much more than bingo. I can see the cafe there and, coffees and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
I know that like in the Hippodrome Casino in London, you've got Magic Mike going on there. There's a lot of stuff that, you can throw in, I guess. And we're talking about disco bingo and singing bingo. I mean, all sorts of different variations. How important is it for bingo clubs to position themselves as this broader entertainment destination?
There are so many other companies now vying for the leisure pound. So it's really important that you offer more than just bingo. Bingo itself is quite fashionable at the moment. Lots of pubs and clubs have got bingo in their program in
Mm.
some form or another. But it's important to offer a wide range of games and a general experience, really, rather than just bingo. You can arrive at the club at 6 p.m., food, drinks, a safe environment, as well as entertainment. I can't think of any other activity where a lone female can enjoy themselves for 3 or 4 hours and feel safe and comfortable and relaxed, and make a lifelong friend in one night. It's
And do you sort of link up with the big bingo national competitions and big LinkedIn games, and how do they sort of play a part in driving excitement and prize potential for your players?
We do. The majority of bingo in my two clubs is all in house. All the money's played for by our customers, but we do offer a couple of link games and the national bingo game, which is a nationally run game with a £50,000 jackpot. So we take part in that. But it's important to offer these games as an attraction, really. It's nice to be able to say that we've got a game with a life-changing amount of money attached to it. Um, and higher prize money does strike the balance between the lower priced in-house games and the higher prized link games.
Mm.
Yeah.
We've moved into different times. I said I'm 62, so I grew up in very different times to now, where people were called, Mister and your first name and so on. Now we call him, her, they, etc.
Yeah.
One could say you have to be very PC. Have the bingo numbers been changed, for example, from two fat ladies, legs 11, dirty Gertie, droopy draws, in favour of more PC nicknames, or are they still okay to use?
Well, it's probably the one area that the bingo industry is ahead of the PC brigade. To be honest with you, we haven't used any of those bingo lingo terms for quite a while. It all became very serious, I think, in the 80s. The need just to pronounce the number really was more important than the lingo aspect. But I personally do miss every now and again.
Yeah.
It's quite nice to hear some of the older style callers on the link circuit say Kelly's Eye number one.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
was your favourite?
Oh,
It's
this
two
is
fat
a trick.
ladies, isn't it?
This is going to tell you more about my personality, isn't it? If I say legs 11,
All right. Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
but I do enjoy two little ducks, because we do still have some customers when we pronounce 22 in the middle of the hall, you'll hear quack quack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these refurbished venues now, the atmosphere, the energy, and overall player experience, you said, is really improved from the older style bingo halls. What is it, would you say, if you could think of one thing that gives your place the X factor, what would it be?
The X factor. We can invest hundreds of thousands of pounds, but as is testament to our comments and our Google reviews and our Facebook reviews, service, giving great service isn't difficult, and it's the one thing that will keep people coming back to the building. We've made it as comfortable, as accessible. We've tried to bring it into the 21st century, but in my opinion, there is no substitute for just giving great service. So, and investing in the people as well as the club will be what keeps us open and thriving as long as we have been.
The bingo industry has faced challenges over the years. I mean, we've reported on numerous, bingo halls that have closed down or been repurposed. Even, there seems to be a bit of a resurgence, in some areas where these halls are coming back into use. But there's also a lot of sort of community, concern about some of the big halls and what they want to do with the building, and they want to turn it into something else. But what do you think has helped it remain relevant and grow in certain areas?
The industry itself has been extremely robust. The challenges we've faced across the last 40, 50 years, the introduction of lottery, the smoking van, COVID, each time bingo has managed to survive and sometimes evolve, not reinventing itself, but almost reinventing itself to grow and prosper. Each challenge is faced head on by the entire industry sometimes. The industry itself is quite incestuous. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's been involved with each other at some point in the past. So the industry faces each challenge head on together, to manage to come through it.
Can you sort of share any standout stories or incidents or reactions from customers, either long-time regs or new young players, since the venues reopened? Something that somebody may have said that really thought, made you think, I'm so glad I'm doing this.
Yeah, we had our local MP that visited, that did the ribbon cutting, and she was walking around, and I introduced her to a table of players, and there were four female generations of the same family.
Wow.
It's a great grandmother, a grandmother, a mum, and a granddaughter, great granddaughter,
Yeah.
sat playing, and they highlighted how important the club was to them. That this is the only time they all get together, and it's just the girls. They come, they eat, they have a couple of drinks, they play bingo all night long for very, very reasonable price. And one of them had recently had a very large win, which did help them, and it meant that they could then continue this meeting for at least the next 2 or 3 months. And just to hear that, and think, not that I'm responsible for it, but the only time that these four generations of the same family get together are when they come to my bingo hall, was quite prominent for me.
Well, that's lovely. Community obviously central to bingo, as you've said
Yes.
over and over. How do your clubs balance the entertainment, social connection, and a welcoming environment across these different age groups? I know you sort of mentioned some of it there, but give us some examples of, this family of four, for instance, walk in, different age groups and so on. What's there for them? How do you balance it all, and what's on offer for them?
What's on offer? Well, apart from great service, we offer a wide range of bingo games. We do tabletop prize bingo games, ticket bingo games. Generally, when people walk in between 5 and 5:15, there is something going on all the way through until 9:30. We've then got the bar and diner. We've got a separate bar area in one of the clubs, which is great for meet and greet and gatherings. I don't know. We do try and tailor the club and the experience for our players, but it's a safe environment, a very safe, comfortable environment, very reasonably priced, and who doesn't like a win every now and again?
And looking ahead, we've mentioned obviously the dreaded tax lady, Rachel Reeves, and the government, and the continual sort of scrutiny and regulation.
Yeah.
What future innovations or trends? I mean, we've got AI now, for instance, as well. What do you expect to shape the next era of bingo venues and player experiences?
Bingo clubs will continuously evolve, but probably the most important thing is to provide the social interaction to bridge the gap that's been created by the solo use of iPads, iPhones, and technology that the younger generation now use to communicate. So, having a platform for people to socially interact, as I mentioned before, the four generations of the family, the only time they get together is in the bingo hall. And if we can champion the social aspect of being in a bingo hall, future generations of players and operators, I think it will look quite bright.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, you've really given us a great insight into the new and modern and exciting bingo, and your certainly what you've got to offer there at your two venues. But good luck with it all, and congratulations again on all the hard work of your staff and obviously yourself.
Thank you very much for the time, Alan. It's been a pleasure.
That's all for today's episode of the CasinosCom podcast. A huge thank you to Peter Woolley for joining us and sharing a behind-the-scenes look at the refurbishment of his bingo venues and the exciting direction the industry is heading. Bingo has long been part of the UK's gaming culture, and as we've heard today, it's evolving faster than ever, blending tradition with fresh experiences that appeal to players of all ages. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you like and share and follow so you never miss an episode. And of course, you can find out more on our website, casinos.com. Interviews and insights all over at the website. That's it. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.